I'm optimistic. For today's video, we will make another video, and the content of this video is all about product-oriented and performance-based assessment. So, since our content for today is very important, I decided to look for professional or person who has a knowledge about this content. That's why I approached my friends from the other country if okay to them to share their knowledge about this content, and luckily they said that they're willing to share their knowledge. Let's start.
We are the group 4 and we are assigned to the topic Product-Oriented Performance-Based Assessment. And I am here to give you a little introduction about our topic. Performance-based education poses a challenge for our teachers to design instruction that is task-oriented. The trend is based on the premise that learning needs to be connected to the lives of students through relevant tasks that focus on students' ability to use their knowledge and skills in meaningful ways. In this case, performance-based task requires performance-based assessment in which the actual student's performance is assessed through a product, such as completed product or work that demonstrates levels of task achievement. That is Navarro R. et al. 2013. The performance is a kind of assessment where the assessor views and scores the final product made and not on the actual performance of making the product. It is concerned on the product alone and not on the process. It is more concerned to the outcome of or the performance to the learner, and it is also focuses on the achievement of the learner. Product assessment focuses on evaluating the results or outcome. Product-oriented learning competencies also, student performances can be defined as target tasks that lead to a product or overall learning outcomes. Product can be include wide range of students' work that targeted specific tasks. So examples are in communication skills. There are reading, speaking, writing, and listening.
Good morning everyone. I am here to report about the product-oriented learning competence. So students perform defined as a targeted task. Targeted task is a product or of overcome learning outcomes. We have the two, products and targets. So product is the specific skills like communication skills and psychomotor skills. Communication skills like reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Psychomotor skills is the physical ability to perform given tasks. Next is the target, beginner, skilled level, and expert level. Beginner is a product or project illustrate the minimum expected parts or functions. Next is the skilled level. Product or project contains additional parts of functions on the top of minimum requirements. Lastly, we have the expected level, the minimum parts of functions. Number 1, we have the learning competence is the final product submitted by the students must. Number 1 is the possesses of the correct dimensions. We call it minimum specifications. Number 2, this study made of durable card.
Next, we have task designing. For you, how should a teacher design a task for product-oriented performance-based assessment? Well, the design of the task in this context depends on what the teacher desires to observe as output of the students. The concepts that may be associated with task designing include So first, we have complexity. The level of complexity of the project needs to be within the range of ability of the students. Projects that are too simple tend to be uninteresting for the students, while projects that are too complicated will most likely frustrate them. The second one is appeal. The project or activity must be appealing to the students. It should be interesting enough so that students are encouraged to pursue the task to completion. It should lead self-discovery of information by the students. The third one is creativity. The projects need to encourage students to exercise creativity and divergent thinking. Given the same set of materials and project inputs, how does one best present the project? It should lead the students into exploring the various possible ways of presenting the final output. The last one is goal-based. Finally, the teacher must bear in mind that the project is produced in order to attain a learning objective. Thus, projects are assigned to students not just for the sake of producing something, but for the purpose of reinforcing learning. For example, paper folding is a traditional Japanese art. However, it can be used as an activity to teach concept of plane and solid figures in geometry. Provide students with a given number of colored papers and ask them to construct as many plain and solid figures from these papers without cutting them.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michelle Samson Relante from EBL's 3B. This afternoon, I am going to discuss the scoring rubrics. So, what is scoring rubrics? According to Brockhart 1999, scoring rubrics are descriptive scoring schemes that are developed by the teachers or other evaluators to guide the analysis of the products or processes of students' efforts. It is typically used when a judgment of quality is required and may be used to evaluate a broad range of subjects and activities. Scoring rubrics also used in grading essays and evaluating projects such as scrapbooks. Judgment concerning the quality of a given writing sample may vary depending upon the criteria established by the evaluator. One evaluator may be heavily weigh the evaluation process upon the linguistic structures, while another evaluator may be more interested in the persuasiveness of the arguments. In addition, effective scoring rubrics show how they will know to what extent of their performance and passes muster on each criterion of the importance and enhance the quality of their performance. So that's all of my report for today. Let's proceed to the other reporters.
Let's move forward to the criteria setting. The criteria for scoring rubrics are statements which identifies what really counts in the final outputs. So it is the ideals or requirements in which judgment, evaluation, or selection is based. So basically, it specifies on how the task will be evaluated. The following are the most often used major criteria for product assessment. First, we have the quality. Second is the creativity. Third is the comprehensiveness. Fourth is the accuracy. And the last one is the aesthetics. From the major criteria, the next task is to identify the sub-statement that would make the major criteria most focused on the objectives. For instance, if we will be scoring on essay, which is the 300 years from the Spanish rules in the Philippines, the major criteria used is the quality. It is because the quality is the specific elements or functions that will be selected, tested, and measured in order to confirm the quality objectives that has been met.
Other methods. Authentic assessment schemes apart from scoring rubrics exist in the arsenal of a teacher. For example, checklist. It enumerates a set of desirable characteristics which are actually observed. Scoring rubrics. Scoring rubrics is based on descriptive skills and suppletion of the extent to which criteria have met. General versus task specific. In the development of scoring rubrics, it is well bear in mind that it can be used to assess or evaluate specific tasks or general or broad category of tasks. For instance, suppose that we are interested in assessing the student's oral communication skills. It has processes of development scoring rubrics. First is the identification of the qualities and attributes that the teacher wishes to observe in the student's outputs that would demonstrate their level of proficiency. Second, determine whether holistic or analytical rubric would be more appropriate. And the third is the identification and definition of the criteria or lowest level of performance. So that's all about product-oriented and performance-based assessment. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share!